Hello, Game of Thrones fans. This is Lady Firesnow. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm here with Quaithe. Say hello, Quaithe.
Hello.
We are doing this live stream 1 hour. We're about 1 hour from the beginning of episode 2, right?
Yes, exciting.
Exciting. So I have a number of things I want to talk about, Quaithe, but do you want to start first? Because I'm going to pull up the chat.
I like your topics. Let's go ahead. I'll let you take the lead. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I was actually going to pull up chat so I could see if anybody was in the chat, so we could talk. So if you want, you've got the list of stuff. Do you want to, is there anything on there particular you want to start with?
I want to start with the intro, the wheel, and all the little Easter eggs they're dropping in there.
Right, because I had some people bring up some things that I didn't notice. One of the big things was the spiral over the first house that got run over, which I think it's Hearth. I always forget how to say it.
Hearth. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yes, the very first house they come to. It actually has, if you look at it, overhead before it goes down into it, it has like a spiral around it. So I have one of my friends and subscribers who pointed it out to me, and how funny that they used that spiral at the very end of the episode, right?
Yes.
It's like a little Easter egg. It's like if you didn't know it was coming.
Yeah.
Right? What else?
It's true.
What else did you see? What else was it? I know there were several things on the map that I noticed, right?
So many, yeah. I'm hoping what they're going to do is each time that we get an introduction that the spiral changes of the story of what's going to come.
Right, on each. I'm hoping for that too, to see the map actually be different.
Yeah.
For each episode.
Yeah.
So, like, I had some other YouTubers pointed out. Sorry, guys, I have confetti in my hair. Happy Easter, by the way.
Yeah, happy Easter.
Happy Easter for our Christians out there. But I noticed that, or some other people were noticing how the tiles are flipping over as you're going past the wall, and they were heading towards that house specifically. And that's kind of where they stopped, and they maybe went a little bit past that house, but then they kind of, like, they're showing us that it's going toward Winterfell, that they are coming to Winterfell next, and which I think we all already knew that. But I'm curious to see if we see more of that, or if they'll be bold enough to give that away in the second episode with the map. Are they going to do that? So,
I liked it. I'm particularly interested in the one with Danny and John in it. That's coincidence that you were talking about the same thing I was looking at.
Mm-hmm.
I think I do see a comment in there. I think that's what it is.
Oh, you're talking about the rings.
The rings, yeah.
The rings, the different events that they showed on the rings. And
did you notice that? Did anybody pick up on that?
I think a lot of people saw, and some different people had different opinions of what the last one was. I think everybody figured out for the most part that the first one was the Night King taking down the wall. I think that was pretty obvious. The second one, if you looked at it close enough, you could tell that it was the Red Wedding, right?
Yeah,
but the third one was the one that got people questioning and talking about it. And I just automatically assumed it was the coming of the prince that was promised. It was something we hadn't seen. I had other people say it was the birth of, Dany's dragons. But what's odd about it is that there's 3 dragons, small dragons in the background, one big dragon, and then there's the comet with the dragon head. So it's kind of like, is that really the birth, or is that something else? So what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I think they combined it for the reason. I think, yes, there's going to be a birth of a new
dragon.
And I do think that the comet is coming.
Right. Well, those of you who don't remember, there was a comet, in when the dragons were born. Even someone on the other side of Wessel's had said, "Oh, that's the sign of the birth of dragons." I think that was forget if that wildling woman that took care of Bran for a long time.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
I think it might have been her that said that, or someone said that. You know, other people had other theories of what they thought it was.
Yeah.
So
I think so. I think it's a combination of both. That's why they're intertwined into each other. But yeah, the introduction I'm really excited about. I'm hoping that they're going to do the same. I hope each time the map changes. I like the 3D effect. I'm excited about that. I mean, I don't know what else is there to say about it. They did a great job.
They did a great job. I mean, that was one of my biggest complaints about season 6, was that it seemed to me like, how can you not change even the symbols on the top of each house? You know, like Cersei was obviously queen. So why didn't they have a Lannister symbol? It was like they didn't change hardly anything. And I didn't understand that. I didn't get that at all.
I think they're going to. I think that like there's only 5 episodes left. So they don't have enough time. So every little bit counts of what introducing information on there, starting at the beginning. You really have to pay attention to all the detail, including the end of the next episode to come. So, I mean, they only have so much, and they're taking advantage of every little time that they have.
I would think so too. I would think they're not going to have that. They're not going to have these meaningless conversations or meaningless things they're going to show us. Everything has to have purpose and meaning.
Yes.
So,
and I mean, getting into that, did you notice that Jorah didn't have that many lines? He wasn't predominantly in that much. But at the same time, he did not leave Dany's side. He's there every step of the way.
Right. I did notice that. And another thing was, where was Ghost?
I can't help notice also in the preview, they show him a quick glimpse of him with the sword. Did Jon give him
a sword? I think it's Sam.
Did you see that?
I would think that Sam gave him his sword. You know, he's got his family sword that's a Valyrian sword. I very seriously doubt that Sam is going to be out there in the front lines, but I know Jorah will. And either that or he's going to be by his queen's side. It's going to be one or the other. And he's going to need to have a Valyrian sword. So
he had it. He's looking at it. His face, it's sadness. It's everything. I think that's a little Easter egg that he's going to be the first to die, guys. I hate saying it, but you know, it was.
We're going to lose people in this battle that's coming next episode. We have to. I mean,
it's going to happen.
Yeah, and right?
I think he might be the one. I think he's going to be the big one, the heartbreak for us and to everybody else. They showed Dany with her face turned. She closed her eyes really tight. I think that might have been the news, about him or Grey Worm. I think he's going to be the next one.
I think that might have been Grey Worm because actually, if you watch the second trailer, Jorah's actually walking up behind her.
Yes.
Okay. So he was actually that specifically wasn't that news.
That wasn't for that.
I had suspected that news was either scene could have been her finding out that Jon is Aegon Targaryen, or it could be.
I put that on my notes too.
Yeah, I think it could be that. Yes, or it could be her finding out she's pregnant. I really think she's going to find out she's pregnant after the battle.
Yeah.
And I think, or it could be what you're saying. It could be the death of Grey Worm.
Yeah.
I think we all know Grey Worm's going to die. So if he doesn't die, I'm going to be shocked. I'm going to be very shocked. I think there's just been too much foreshadow of that. Even just that big kiss. I mean, I said that big kiss with Jon and Dany.
Too, that whole sentimental looking at the sword, you know, the somber face. You know, I was like, oh God, that's it. We're saying goodbye to him.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. I really this time paid attention to the next preview and all the little clips that they were giving us and all the little clues. He did not have that many lines. George really didn't. I mean, just for the time where they were confronting Sam. But you're right. Characters are going to start going.
We're gonna lose some characters. I mean, we have to. And I mean, we didn't lose a character in episode 1, right? Or did we?
Just the of what we recognized. The White Walkers did take the little boy.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Well, we lost all of Carharth. That's the name of them. Carharth. The Carharth house with little Umber. Yes.
Yes.
But they weren't really a main character. I mean,
No,
he was
they were
just
not, but they did show, they're showing that.
yeah, death is going to be every episode, right?
Yeah.
Every episode.
But nothing really big.
Nothing big yet.
Yeah. So I want to know, what do you think about? I mean, this. I put my comments on there the other day. I am kind of hesitant about the Stark kids. They're creeping me out.
Yeah. I would agree with that. It's like, are they becoming the villain? That's a really big thing about Game of Thrones, though, is that George R. R. Martin has said many, many times that each character isn't just all good or all bad. No. That's what makes Game of Thrones so real. Is that they show true reality of who we are as people. We have our good side, we have our bad side. And most people are that way, and that's what's so real about Game of Thrones and what makes people so appealing to it. And so I all this time we've kind of seen the Starks as they're the good guys. And it would make a lot of sense, and it would be very poetic if they kind of turned into the bad guys at the end. What was kind of like
Bran's been the Third Eye Raven has not been the good guy all along. It's been the creator that you don't want to be created, It's interesting.
Yeah, since you brought Bran up, I watched an interview. He was on Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah. Sorry. Sometimes I have a hard time pronouncing things porque yo soy mexicana. But anyway,
understandable.
Yes, understandable. So Jimmy Kimmel, I think it is. So he was Isaac was on a interview, and they were like trying to get him to talk, right? Trying to get him to talk. It was right after episode 1, matter of fact, that he was in the interview, and he was like saying something about the Night King, and he said that the Night King is definitely, that Bran is definitely on the side of the living. He gave that away. He said, Bran is definitely on the side of the living. And then Jimmy Kimmel said, okay, so he's not the Night King because he wouldn't be out for himself. And then Isaac said, who said the Night King's dead?
There you go. There's a lot of twists. You got to pay attention to the twist.
I mean, think about it. The Night King's not dead. They put that.
He's not.
He's not. He was never dead to begin with.
He just got power.
He just has power, right?
Yes. And who gave him the power?
The children.
Yeah.
The children gave it to him.
The children were at war. They were at war.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to do something about it. And they're George is taking a lot of his writing from history, from everything,
Mm-hmm.
When you look at everything now.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to do something about this. And what if the children split up? What if there was a Republican and a Democratic side? They couldn't get together what they were going to do. Hence again, let's get to the Bible. Do not touch the forbidden fruit, which is the dragon glass. It's got too much power. If you use it, it could go backwards on you.
Mm-hmm.
What if there was two split of the children that was like, no, don't use it. The other one's like, we're going to use it. They used it. They touched the forbidden fruit. It turned on them. Okay, so what if there's two groups of children, a good group and a bad group?
Oh, that's a good one. That would be a good twist.
One group turned the king, got the power, evil. But there's another group somewhere that turned, what's his name? Uncle Benjen? We didn't see any of that. They didn't show it. All we know is he turned. And he said they did the same thing to him.
Right.
Who did that?
Right. You and I had talked about this before. It's like, how do you decipher who is good and who is bad? Because, I mean, or why is it that the Night King is a bad guy? He was alive and they put this dragon glass in him. Benjen is a good guy and they put the dragon glass in him when he was dead. So it's just...
The dragon glass. Did another group, because they were in the tree fighting with Bran and were getting blown up. So who saved Benjen? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Is there the group? Is there another that we don't know about? It's all these questions. And to that's what tells you where's the good guy, who's the bad guy. Getting back to the Starks, Bran knows something. Bran knows a lot. He gets together with his sisters. What we don't know. They're talking. They know things now that he knows.
Right.
Their brother comes back, who they kept longing to see, John. And I'm sorry, it's a good reunion, but it's not the reunion I was expecting. I mean, did you see when him and Arya were together? He puts his hand on Arya. The first thing she does is look at his hand. Like, how dare you touch me? But she pulls back. Because I think they're saying you can't reveal what we know. I think they're faking. I think they're fake liking him. I don't know. There's something going on. Sansa's a little bit of a bitch. Sorry my language, guys. But I don't know. They're acting really strange.
I think they're acting.
Everybody the stink eye.
Yeah. That was something that was on Melissa's. Did you see the look on Bran's face when he looked at Daenerys?
Oh, yes, we saw that. Man, we were just talking about that today. My husband and I were looking at that. I mean,
he was looking at her like he was mad.
And cut her conversation off.
Oh, he was like, we don't have time for this now. I mean, I like that he cut the chase. I like all that, but it was the look on his face when she was standing across the courtyard and he was looking at her, and they zeroed in on his face the way he was looking at her.
Yes.
Like he was like, I don't like you kind of look. So
I don't know, these Starks, they something needs, I don't know, something's up.
I would agree. So we've got 2 people watching. I don't see any chat, so I'm looking on my iPad and I'm not seeing any chat. But
let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, if you guys want to comment, please do. I'm hoping I'll be able to see your chat from here.
Every time I get notes, I somehow go back to Bran.
Everything goes back to Bran because Bran is. I agree with you. I think Bran is at the key here. He's definitely part of the element of the final, the final ending. I think that we all kind of feel that way, is that it has to be something with Bran because there's too much mystery. That's why. When there's too much mystery around something, that's the end. That's where it is. So thank you for watching. Please slap a like on this video if you're watching it later or even now live. And just wanted to make sure I said that. And so Bran, right?
Yes. I mean, Bran's sitting out there in the cold, 24 hours waiting for Jaime.
Yeah.
Bran sitting out there in the cold, giving Tyrion the whole hard stare, giving Daenerys the hard stare.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just like, he knows so much about everybody, and he's like, I don't know. Do the girls know what he knows? What did he tell them? Do they know?
Yeah, like that's a good question. Like, did they did that whole off-screen thing with Bran and Arya and Sansa to get Littlefinger? So, what other off-screen conversations are they having with Bran? How much do they really know?
And I think they know, and I think this is strange. If it was me, my brothers, and my sisters, and I knew that my brother was the king, I did not tell my brothers or sisters yet. I'm waiting to tell them, or my sisters. I wouldn't want it to be just us, in the room. I don't know. He left it up to Sam. He was like, you do it. He trusts you. It's like they're not happy with the news.
I don't think.
They don't seem to be 100% on board with it. To me, it doesn't look like it. I don't know.
I don't think that Bran has told them yet that who Jon is. I think that he would. So? No, I don't think he would do that. I think that he loves Bran. He actually smiled when Jon came up to him.
He did. But they have to put on the front like everything's cool. They have to, because if they don't,
I don't know. He certainly wasn't putting no front on when he looked at Dany. That was no front. He was looking at her like he wanted to put a dagger in her.
That's not the sibling. I mean, I'm talking about with his sibling, because Jon knew something was up within the 5 seconds after their greeting.
Oh yeah, he had that look on his face, like what's up? Like something's wrong with you.
Imagine if they were cold the whole time, though.
Yeah.
They're being cold, but not that. I don't know. There's something up with that. I don't know. Getting back to the end where there's sneak peek of the preview, what's tonight? I do see Jon and Daenerys in the crypts, and him looking somber and sad. Do you think that's where he's going to tell her? Do you think he's going to tell her?
I think he is. I think he is going to tell her. I think he is.
That's where he does it?
I'm not sure. You know, Jon he's been blurting things out, what his decisions are. Kind of like when, as the king, he would just he wouldn't discuss it with anybody. He would just say, I'm going to, Dragonstone. And he would say it to everybody at the same time, even Sansa. And I almost feel like they're going to start this stupid little trial thing for Jaime, which I think is dumb. It's like, really, why are we wasting time on this? I want to see the tourney of Harrenhal, or I want to see some history. I want to see, I'd rather see a flashback, but it's not what I want, right? So
my husband was, because you see that Bran is in the corner.
Yeah. Actually, he's on you can see the corner of the table. So he's actually on the side of the table, kind of. He's there kind of. Yeah, so he's not necessarily, but there was a crow behind him. How you noticed that? I didn't notice it until you pointed it out. And but I think Jon's going to stand up and be like, you know what? This is ridiculous. We don't have time for this. I think that's where that we heard it in the trailer when he said our enemy doesn't, rest and doesn't. He had that whole speech he had in one of the trailers. Yeah. I think that's when he's going to say it. I think he's going to say it in that trial. And I think he might even stand up and say, you know what? I'm Aegon Targaryen. You know what I mean? Like, he's crazy like that. The way he just comes out with shit.
That's the thing. That's the similarity between him and Dany. They do not think before they speak.
Yes.
They just
blurt it out.
And Sansa reels him in, and Tyrion reels her in.
Yes.
So I think that's the whole reason why Bran was outside.
Oh yeah, Bran was outside to get to Jaime before Jaime told anybody.
To tell him, look, dude, I know it was you, it's me. Let's get past that. There's something very important. They're about to put you in the room and cut your head off.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you what to say because I know what they're going to do to you. I see your future. Bran's all about changing that shit. He changes it. He did it with Odo. He's changing it. I think he's warning him because he knows when they go in there, Dany's a nonsense woman. No nonsense, which is why they showed her burning the Sam's dad. She doesn't think before she does something. So I think Bran's there to warn her, to give him what to say, tell him, this is what I want you to do. This is what you're going to say. Just, help. I think he's going to help him. I think he needs him.
I think so too. I've always kind of felt like it would only make sense for Jaime to become Bran's protector. Like that would be his redeeming everything for himself and to be able to forgive himself, I think. And I think that Bran knows that. That's my personal prediction. And that's what I'm expecting to see. And I'm really expecting Bran to say, look, I know you pushed me out the window, and if you didn't push me out the window, I wouldn't be the three-eyed raven. And don't tell anybody, because they're just going to chop your head off for sure.
And another thing my husband brought up, he's like, if I was sitting outside in the cold and I had a nemesis like that I needed to talk to, he goes, I don't think it's about all that petty stuff. I think it's something bigger about what his sister's cooking up.
Yeah.
He goes, I think Bran might have had a flash of what Cersei's cooking up, and that's what he's probably going to, history's history. It would happen with you and I, but we got a bigger thing, and your sister's going to be a big obstacle. I need you to handle her. Right. That's what my husband's prediction was. And hey, that makes sense. He wants to move on. He's trying to get this going.
Mm-hmm.
He's not has time for no pity stuff. He's in the now,
right,
trying to figure it out. So that might be another thing. But yeah, he's got a lot to talk to him about.
So
interesting.
We got a couple of new people watching. Thanks, you guys, for joining and tuning in with us. I'm here with Quaithe Theories, and we're kind of going over some of the things that we saw in the trailer. We're going over some of the things that happened in episode 1 that maybe we didn't address in our post episode 1 live chat that we did, or live stream that we did. We kind of did it a little bit late, and so we didn't discuss some of these things. So we kind of made a list of things that we wanted to talk about. And it seems like we keep going back to Bran.
Yes.
Bran. Yeah, everything's around Bran. Like, what's going on? And I did a whole I did a what do you call it, a breakdown of episode 1, and showed all of the replications of season 1 episode 1. They even ended season 1 episode 1 with Bran falling out the window, and they ended season 8 episode 1 with Jaime looking at Bran, and now the roles were kind of reversed, if you will. The fear factor was definitely reversed. So yeah. So a couple of other things from episode 1 that I wanted to bring up that it was actually from that was that Yara did not say they killed the bastards anyway. She actually said, but killed the bastards anyway. And that was actually referencing the dead, because she said, right before that, she said, what is dead will never die, which are their words, right? But then she said, but kill the bastards anyway. So she was actually talking about the dead. So I wanted to clarify that. And thanks for commenting, those, people who did say things to me about that. Arya's weapon, I asked, like, what is that weapon? And then I noticed I watched some other breakdowns after I did mine. And they were talking about, I think it was the last Harpy was actually showing where she's holding it. In one of the, those battle scenes, and that we're going to probably see in episode 3, she's actually holding it. And then another trailer, she's holding a piece, like, it looks like she's just holding a piece of dragon glass, but I bet you she's holding that weapon. I bet you she's, and I think that was showed in the trailer for episode 2. So we're going to see that in episode 2. I think we're going to see the weapon. So I'm excited about that, because remember, she worked a lot with the stick.
Yeah, and speaking of Arya, I mean, I noticed a little flirting
there. There was a little flirting there, especially when she was
lips there, a little dancing, a little.
She walked away and she turned around and smiled, and I saw that too. And I was the first one to say, I don't think there's going to be any love thing going on with them, but I might be wrong about that. I might be wrong. Yeah. So I always kind of felt like Sansa would probably end up with Gendry or something, but who knows? Sansa may think that's not high enough for me. She might be a little bit more like, no, I'll marry someone with a better, but the better status.
I did talk about in our last stream that I want her and Dany to go in the room and battle it out, and I saw the end of the preview. I paid attention.
Yes,
it looks like they do.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And you know what? I'm not surprised that you pegged that one. I'm not surprised. The same that you pegged early in the episode that Bran was sitting there waiting on Jaime when he said, "I'm waiting for a friend," and I heard it on our when I videoed our reactions in the first episode, and you said his friend that pushed him out the window. You knew it. And actually, when I went back and rewatched it, he was sitting there when Sansa and Tyrion were talking, like in the 3rd scene of the whole episode. He was there almost the entire episode, sitting there waiting for him.
That's why my husband was like, someone would not sit out there just to say, hey, you pushed me out the window, I know. And he goes, this guy is all about getting the battle on.
Yeah.
He goes, his sister might be up to something huge, and he needs to tell him, hey, let's put all that aside. I need you. Your sister's up to something good. This is what you're going to say when you face Dany. Get to the point and save your ass. I think he's going to save him because he's going to need him, because I think Cersei's up to something big. I really do think she is.
Cersei's always got something up her sleeve. The last time that we thought,
I love that about her.
Yeah, yes, she's definitely a game player. She definitely knows how to play that game. That's for sure.
Yes.
So, let's see. I think I'm going down my list here to make sure we get it all. Jon and Dany combo at the cave. I missed that. So. And please, someone correct me if I'm not saying this correctly, because I don't know all of the details, but I know that there's a difference between the Night King that's in the show and the Night's King that's in the books. Okay? So the Night's King that's in the books actually had a queen. right? Which is where the your whole theory comes from, right? Of Cersei becoming the Night Queen. Yes. And she's standing in front of the cave, which again emulates his relationship with Ingrid in the cave, right? But she says, we could stay here for 1,000 years and no one would ever find us. And that's actually what happened with the Night's King and Night's Queen. They actually disappeared for 1,000 years. They disappeared for 1,000 years. And meanwhile, people were guess what they were doing? They were sacrificing their babies to them. Yeah. They were sacrificing their babies to them. And he said, John said, oh, we'd be pretty old. You know what I mean? So, but that was a direct reference to what is going on. To something that we think that little conversation was just playful talking. And maybe it was just a little wink, to the book readers who know about that history. Yeah. It's possible, but I think what you said earlier is right on. Why even every little thing they're gonna use it for something. So I'm curious to see if maybe you and I talk about this. What made the actors have to go for a walk after they read the whole series, the end of season 8? What made them have to go for a walk and take it in and just be, and because,
I was thinking the Starks are the ones that are going to be the bad guys. Well, they've been in front of us all along. Maybe that's it. Maybe Bran is actually, the bad person. Maybe these White Walkers are doing what they're supposed to do and cleanse out the humans and start a whole new world. I don't know. There's something that's going to be a twist like that that's going to take our breath away, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do. Right. But it's going to be, I mean, you guys, I know I'm thinking far out there. I'm probably going, no, but really, you've got to think outside the box of this. It's you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah,
I would agree with that. I mean, I think that most people are not going to guess what's going to happen. And I think myself included. I have my own opinions of what I think is going to happen, but I expect to be wrong. I expect Game of Thrones to shock me. I think if I could guess the ending, I think if either one of us could guess the ending, George R. R. Martin's not as good as we thought he was, or that even Dan and Dave are not as good as we thought they were. Yeah. So I want to be shocked. I want to be wrong about things. I want to find out. Yeah, I do. Definitely. So
I mean, it'd be interesting. Yes. Okay. So say the Starks and Bran is the person that's the actual bad guy. He brainwashes his sisters to his way. Fine. What if we say that the White King is actually after Bran? What if he's after Cersei? What if he wants his queen?
Yeah, I know that's one of your big theories is that the Night King wants a queen. And it might be Cersei. So I know that's
after her. Maybe that's what he wants. She's got the drive, the heart. She's got that what he needs for all those babies he's turning. Mm-hmm. What is he doing with those babies?
Yeah, we're not going to find out. They're not going to tell us. They're not going to tell us about the baby stuff. That's all going to be for the prequel. That was one of my big predictions. I really expect that to happen. I really expect them to keep a lot of the story of the White Walkers a mystery so that all of that can be revealed in the prequel. I think they're going to give us only like the most important piece of information we need to conclude this story. And I think that's all they're going to give us. I think they're going to leave all of that a mystery.
Yeah, and I mean, this story. Let's get back to this story. I keep going ahead of myself. But yeah, we talked about Bran. Bran goes back to everything. Arya, she's a little flirty. Mm-hmm. John. Oh my God, Sam. I love him being as strong as him. I hope they carry that forward, being a strong character.
Yeah, I had something with Sam is what is Sam going to do? He is very upset about what happened to his parent, about his dad and his brother, obviously his brother more. And I really should have seen that coming. I totally didn't see that coming. I thought he was going to be more supportive just because they were so awful to him. But, real life tells us that no matter how bad our parents are to us, no matter how badly they treat us, we still love them and we are still upset.
And I don't think it didn't sound like that's what he was upset about. It was the decision as a queen that he didn't like. He's thinking bigger. That's what he said to John. you've done it. You didn't make, you let people go. You let some of the wildlings live.
Right.
Would you make that decision? She did.
Right.
He's thinking bigger because he already knows.
I would agree with you. I would agree that even when he was king in the north and he had all the wildlings following him, they weren't bending the knee to him. He wasn't forcing them to bend the knee, and I think Dany is sort of becoming a little bit of a villain here. She's really starting to be like, worship me or die, that's not the way you get people to follow you. And I think that there's John is going to be upset with that. I think Sam is very upset with that. And I think that Sam's going to be like, look, you're not even the real freaking heir to the throne, lady, and so
Varys did that wink. He did that little wink to us and said, nothing lasts.
Nothing lasts.
And that's what's going to tear them apart, that they have two different styles of conquering, of ruling. They think very different. He hasn't seen that side of her.
Yeah.
He didn't know about her.
He's going to see
it now with her talking to Jamie.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to that's probably why that part is in there, so Jon can see what she does as queen in that role.
How is she going to really handle that? And that's probably what's going to I think that's what's going to make him determine how he's going to address going forward.
Absolutely.
Is he going to stand up and say, I am really the rightful heir? Or is he going to, let her rule because he knows that, she's going to rule properly? He thinks that she's going to be a good queen. But if she continues down this path that she started, and I really hope that she learned her lesson with Sam. Yeah. I saw the remorse in her face. If you go back and you watch it again, and Jorah makes a face and she makes a face like, oh my God, I really messed up. I hope that she learned something from that, and that maybe she uses that learning, that reaction will be a counteraction of how she handles Jamie. I mean, come on, somebody killed somebody's father and everybody in that room. Seriously? Yeah. You think it's just different because it's you, Dany? I mean, that's not fair. No. I mean, her grandfather. I mean, her father killed John's grandfather. Okay,
yeah.
I saw something on that. My grandfather killed my other grandfather. It's basically. I think there's a lot of petty stuff, with the bigger picture of the war coming in. But I just think that John's going to have to see it for himself. If they are going to come together and rule together or whatever, she's going to have to do some major kissing ass to Sam, because Jon trusts Sam immensely. Right.
So she's going to have to, do some really, she's going to have to get on her knees to him. I don't know. There's going to be something really big to get into those good graces with him.
With Sam, yeah.
Sam has Jon's ear, and I don't know if she knows it yet, but she's going to find out.
Yeah.
And I hope Sam stays that strong character.
I hope so too. I'd like to see him become a stronger character. He started out as such a, it seemed like he was not very important. He didn't have much to offer. Yeah. And now he's become this really great character. And I would like to see that character arc for him to stand up and be like, no, this is not acceptable. He was the one that stood up and got Jon elected to be Lord Commander. He was the one that stood up, and Jon was like, no. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to stand up and say who you really are. I could see Sam standing up and going, she's not even heir to the Iron Throne. You know what I mean? I could see Sam doing that now.
If you think about it, now that his brother and his dad are not there, who's next in line for his castle?
Him.
Exactly.
So he's now the Lord. So now he probably feels more of a sense of responsibility of now being the Lord of his own home. So I could see that. So we have a couple more people who are tuning in. Thanks so much for joining us today. We're talking a lot about what we think we're going to see that's coming. Maybe some things that we missed in episode 1. And I'm kind of going down a list. So excuse that I'm looking to the side a lot because I'm trying to see what our list is here. We've talked about Sam. We've talked a lot about Bran. Excuse me. And we talked about Jon. We talked about Dany, right?
Yes.
We talked
Jorah. I made a little prediction. I think Jorah's going to be the first one to go.
Yeah, that was a big. I hope you're wrong. I know we're gonna lose Grey Worm, but I don't think it's gonna be this episode. I think it'll be next episode. But I think this episode's gonna be a lot about drama. It's gonna be a lot of drama. I think it's gonna be a little slower. I think that this episode is going to be. If you go back, I went back and watched season 1, episode 2 and 3. Because they emulated episode 1 so much in episode 1 of season 8. I am expecting them. And if you watch episode 2 and 3, it's almost all drama. It's all about Bran being pushed out the window. Okay. It's all about Jamie and Cersei and their love affair. It's mostly all drama in those 2 episodes. And I'm waiting to see which of the 2 endings of those 2 episodes they're going to take for the ending of this episode. So, or the ending of the next episode even. So my big out on a limb prediction is, in the trailer where you see the 2 hooves, the 2 dead hooves, I think that's going to be the closing. I really do. I think it's going to be the closing. It's like done, like they're here, and it's time. Maybe that, and then maybe the one where you see them all standing there, and then it's just going to end. I think that's what it's going to be. So when it starts, it's going to start with battle immediately. I think the entire episode 3 is going to be battle. So the other thing I wanted to mention about Yara, I kind of sped over Yara a little bit, and we talked a little bit about Yara. But, Yara said to Theon, I'm going to go take back the Iron Islands because Daenerys may need a place to retreat if they can't hold down Winterfell. I'm sorry. Again, no words are out there for no reason. Okay.
I liked what you and I predicted, though. I think we're spot on.
I think so. I think they're definitely gonna have to retreat. There was I saw someone else commenting about, the dragons aren't eating. Oh, we've got people in the chat.
Yay!
Thank you for chatting.
I think that thing is because that little remark she made is because I think that's where Cersei's going to flee to. I think that's why she slept with Euron. I think that's why she's doing that. She's got something up her sleeve.
Oh, yeah. She definitely got something up her sleeve.
At least I think, I don't know. Yeah.
I had someone in the chat said, do you think that we might get a dance with dragons now that Jon knows he's a Targaryen? Do you know about the Dance of Dragons, Quaithe?
Yes.
And when the dragons fought dragons? I think Jon is too focused on defeating the Night King right now. I think that, hell, anything's possible. Anything's possible now that they're both on dragons. I don't know. I just don't see Jon as someone who just wants to go out and maliciously kill someone he just slept with. You know what I mean? I think that we're there, that they're there. Maybe episode 5. There's going to be another battle. There's not going to be just episode 3. There's going to be a battle in episode 5. If you guys don't know that, always the episode before the last episode is always a big episode. And we know there's not going to just be one battle. They're not going to defeat the Night King in episode 3. So we know there's going to have to be another battle. And so Miguel Sapochnik, who is directing episode 3, he also did Hard Home. He also did Battle of the Bastards. He's directing episode 3, and he's directing episode 5. So I
love his direction. Yes, I love him.
We know that's where the battles are going to be. So who knows? Who knows what could happen with that? I think when you asked about Dance of the Dragons, I think we can see Dance of the Dragons going on, but definitely between Viserion. Now that they've already stuck Jon on a dragon, they obviously did that for a reason. They wanted to show us that he already learned how to control Rhaegar for a reason. And that's definitely because they're going to be on Dragonback when they're fighting this Viserion, I'm sure. And next, not this episode, but next episode, episode 3. Mm-hmm. He says, if Dany keeps demanding follow or die, I can see a civil war between Jon and Dany.
Absolutely.
That's what we've been talking about. Is it very possibly that there's going to be they're not going to agree with each other. They're not going to agree.
They don't agree right now.
Thanks, Scripts to Clips for commenting. We appreciate. We want to see comments. We want some feedback, guys. We want to know what you think. We want to know if you agree with us or disagree with us. So definitely.
Yeah. And do you think that we're going to see Ghost? You think he's gonna?
Yeah. Where is Ghost? Ghost have either if Ghost doesn't come out in this episode, there's a reason. That means that Ghost is he's not going to hang around Winterfell without Jon being there. He's probably out,
I think
roaming.
he's out going to get Arius.
Going out to going to get Nymeria? I hope so. I want to see some wolves in action in episode 3 in the battle. I want to see the wolves fighting, and I said that too. If you look at and a couple of other YouTubers pointed out, and I saw it. It's clear as day. The space and that in the trailer when you see them, galloping, and all you see is their lower half. They don't even show the upper part. Come on. And some of them, the space between their belly and the floor, it's just too short. It's too short. And so, and you can tell some of them have hair on their arms, and some of them actually look like they have a hook, like an actual horse hook. So I think those are horses with wolves.
Yeah, and I think that might be what Ghost is doing. He's probably doing the same thing John is doing. He's recruiting. Maybe so. I mean, maybe so. I'd like to see that. I said that really early, right after season 6. I was like, I want to see animals get involved. I want to see this be big. I think that's why he's recruiting. I think there's going to be the spiders, the polar bears, the elephants, as Cersei would say. I really need those elephants.
I really needed those elephants. I'd love to see an ice spider on the Night King's side. I'd love to see that. I would. Okay, so we've got about 12 minutes before the episode starts. So let's wrap it up real quick because I want to have at least 5-10 minutes before the episode starts. Gotta go make sure everything is up and down. I got a group of people here that are here, and I'm like hiding out in my office, guys, to do this live stream. So thanks so much for joining us. I think we went over everything on the list. So except there was one thing, but we will talk about that after the episode. I want to see if this outline, if the name of the second episode is correct according to this outline, and if it is, we're going to have some stuff to talk about. So we're going to have some stuff to talk about. So thanks, Quaithe Theories. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
No, I just tell your friends, guys. Tell them to subscribe and join in on the chat. Give us some stuff to debate. Give us some ideas.
We want to hear your thoughts, even if you completely disagree with us. Even if you think something totally, out there, we want to hear it. We want to hear what you think. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, all right. So we'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Let's enjoy episode 2, and we'll see you afterwards. Probably maybe 20 minutes, would you say? Maybe 20 minutes? 20 minutes.
Yeah,
20 minutes afterwards. It may take me a minute to get my computer up and going and running properly. So 20 minutes, muscle menos. So.
That sounds great. Yes.
All right, guys. All right, we'll see you soon. Take care. Thanks for watching. Oh, don't forget my scene, right? I forgot to say my saying, right? Vozes vantas amazes. Winter's coming.